Gwadloup is a group of Caribbean islands located in the Leeward Islands, in the Lesser Antilles, with a land area of 1,628 square kilometers and a population of 405,739 inhabitants. It is an overseas region of France, consisting of a single overseas department. Gwadloup is an integral part of France, as are the other overseas departments. Besides Gwadloup's two islands of Basse-Terre and Grande-Terre, the smaller islands of Marie-Galante, La copyright Désirade, and the Îles des Saints are included in Gwadloup. As part of France, Gwadloup is part of the European Union and the Eurozone. Hence, as for all Eurozone countries, its currency is the euro. However, as an overseas department, Gwadloup is not part of the Schengen area. The prefecture of Gwadloup is Basse-Terre. Its official language is French, although many of its inhabitants also speak Antillean Creole. Etymology: Christopher Columbus named the island Santa Maria de Gwadloup in 1493 after the Virgin Mary, venerated in the Spanish town of Gwadloup, in Extremadura. History: the island was called Carúcara by the Arawak people, who settled on there in 300 AD CE. During the 8th century, the Caribs came and killed the existing population of Amerindians on the island. During his second trip to America, in November 1493, Christopher Columbus became the first European to land on Gwadloup, while seeking fresh water. He called it Santa Maria de Gwadloup de Extremadura, after the image of the Virgin Mary venerated at the Spanish monastery of Villacas, in Gwadloup, Extremadura. The expedition set ashore just south of Cape Ster, but left no settlers behind. Columbus is credited with discovering the pineapple on the island of Gwadloup in 1493, although the fruit had long been grown in South America. He called it Pia plus or minus de Indias, meaning pine of the Indies. During the 17th century, the Caribs fought against the Spanish settlers and repelled them. After successful settlement on the island of Saint Christophe, the French Company of the American Islands delegated Charles Lénard and Jean du Plessis Aussenville, Lord of Aussenville, to colonize one or any of the region Euro unregistered trademark S islands, Guadeloupe, Martinique, or Dominica. Due to Martinique Euro unregistered trademark S inhospitable nature, the duo resolved to settle in Gwadloup in 1635, took possession of the island, and wiped out many of the Carib Amerindians. It was annexed to the Kingdom of France in 1674. Over the next century, the British seized the island several times. The economy benefited from the lucrative sugar trade, which commenced during the closing decades of the 17th century. Gwadloup produced more sugar than all the British islands combined, worth about £6 million a year. The British captured the island in 1759. The British government decided that Canada was strategically more important and kept Canada while returning Gwadloup to France in the Treaty of Paris that ended the 7 Years' War. In 1790, following the outbreak of the French Revolution, the monarchists of Gwadloup refused to obey the new laws of equal rights for the free people of color and attempted to declare independence. The ensuing conflict with the Republicans, who were faithful to revolutionary France, caused a fire to break out in Pointe-à-Pitre that devastated a third of the town. The monarchists ultimately overcame the Republicans and declared independence in 1791. The monarchists then refused to receive the new governor that Paris had appointed in 1792. In 1793, a slave rebellion broke out, which made the upper classes turn to the British and ask them to occupy the island. In an effort to take advantage of the chaos ensuing from the French Revolution, Britain seized Gwadloup in 1794, holding control from April 21 until December 1794, when Victor Hughes obliged the British general to surrender. Hughes succeeded in freeing the slaves, who then turned on the slave owners who controlled the sugar plantations. In 1802, Napoleon Bonaparte issued the law of May 20, 1802. It restored slavery to all of the colonies captured by the British during the French Revolutionary Wars, but did not apply to certain French overseas possessions such as Guadeloupe, Guyane, and Saint-Domingue. Napoleon sent an expeditionary force to recapture the island from the rebellious slaves. Louis Delgres and a group of revolutionary soldiers killed themselves on the slopes of the Matba volcano when it became obvious that the invading troops would take control of the island. The occupation force killed approximately 10,000 Guadeloupians. On February 4, 1810, the British once again seized the island and continued to occupy it until 1816. By the Anglo-Swedish alliance of March 3, 1813, it was ceded to Sweden for a brief period of 15 months. However, the British administration continued in place and British governors continued to govern the island. In the Treaty of Paris of 1814, Sweden ceded Gwadloup once more to France. An ensuing settlement between Sweden and the British gave rise to the Gwadloup Fund. The Treaty of Vienna in 1815 definitively acknowledged French control of Gwadloup. Slavery was abolished on the island on May 28, 1848 at the initiative of Victor Schœlcher. Gwadloup lost 12,000 of its 150,000 residents in the cholera epidemic of 1865 €66. In 1925, after the trial of Henry Sidambaram, Raymond Poincaré copyright decided to grant French nationality and the right to vote to Indian citizens. In 1946, the colony of Gwadloup became an overseas department of France. Then in 1974, it became an administrative centre. Its deputies sit in the French National Assembly in Paris. Today, the population of Gwadloup is mainly of African or mixed descent and largely Roman Catholic, speaking French and a Creole patois. There are also Europeans, Indians, Lebanese, Syrians, Chinese, and Carib Amerindians. The archipelago of Îles des Saints is mostly populated by the descendants of colonists from Brittany and Normandy. On July 15, 2007, the island communes of Saint Martin and Saint Barthélemy were officially detached from Gwadloup and became two separate French overseas collectivities with their own local administration. Their combined population was 35,930 and their combined land area was 74.2 km2 as of the 1999 census. On January 20, 2009, an umbrella group of approximately 50 labor union and other associations, led by a Pamela Lidemota, called for a $200 monthly pay increase for the island's low-income workers. The protesters have proposed that authorities lower business taxes as a top-up to company finances to pay for the A200 pay raises. Employers and business leaders in Gwadloup have said that they cannot afford the salary increase. The strike lasted 44 days, ending with an accord reached on March 5, 2009. Tourism suffered greatly during this time and affected the 2010 tourist season as well. The French Caribbean general strikes exposed deep ethnic, racial, and class tensions and disparities within Gwadloup. Geography. Located as the southernmost of the Leeward Islands in the eastern Caribbean Sea, Gwadloup comprises two main islands, Basse-Terre Island and Grande-Terre. The adjacent French islands of La Dar copyright Désirade, Les Saints, and Marie-Galante are under jurisdiction of Gwadloup. Western Basse-Terre has a rough volcanic relief while eastern Grande-Terre features rolling hills and flat plains. La Grande Soufriere is the highest mountain peak in the Lesser Antilles, 1467 m. Further to the north, Saint Barthélemy and the northern French part of Saint Martin were previously under the jurisdiction of Gwadloup, but on December 7, 2003, both of these areas voted to become an overseas territorial collectivity, a decision which took effect on February 22, 2007. Hurricanes. The island was devastated by several hurricanes in modern times. On September 12, 1928, the Okeechobee hurricane caused extensive damage and killed thousands of people. On August 22, 1964, Gwadloup was ravaged by Hurricane Cleo, which killed 14 people. On September 27, 1966, Category 3 Hurricane Inez caused extensive damage, mostly in Grande-Terre and North Basse-Terre Island, killing 33 people. Charles de Gaulle visited the islands after the hurricanes and declared them a disaster area. On September 17, 1989, Category 4 Hurricane Hugo caused extensive damage, destroyed 10,000 homes leaving more than 35,000 homeless. It destroyed 100% of the banana crop, and 60% of the sugarcane crop. From late August to mid-September 1995, the island was in the path of 3 successive cyclones. Tropical Storm Iris on August 28 caused minor damages. Hurricane Louis on September 5 caused moderate damage on the north coast of Grande-Terre. And Hurricane Marilyn on September 15 caused moderate damage in Basse-Terre. On September 21, 1998, Hurricane Georges pounded the islands, causing moderate damage and destroying 90% of the banana crop. Climate. Demographics. Major urban areas, statistics, July 2006 estimates from the CIA World Factbook. Note that these estimates disagree with official INSEE estimates and that they also include St. Martin and St. Barthé. Copyright Lemmy. Administration. Gwadloup sends 4 deputies to the French National Assembly and 3 senators to the French Senate. One of the 4 National Assembly constituencies still includes St. Martin and St. Barthé. Copyright Lemmy even though they seceded from Gwadloup in 2007. This situation should last until 2012 when St. Martin and St. Barthé. Copyright Lemmy will send their own deputies to the French National Assembly. Gwadloup is divided into arrondissements, cantons and communes, arrondissements of the Gwadloup Department, cantons of the Gwadloup Department, communes of the Gwadloup Department. Economy. In 2006, the GDP per capita of Gwadloup at market exchange rates, not at PPP, was a 17,338. The economy of Gwadloup depends on tourism, agriculture, light industry and services. But it especially depends on France for large subsidies and imports. Tourism is a key industry, with 83.3% of tourists visiting from metropolitan France, 10.8% coming from the rest of Europe, 3.4% coming from the United States, 1.5% coming from Canada, 0.4% coming from South America, and 0.6% coming from the rest of the world. An increasingly large number of cruise ships visit the islands. The traditional sugar cane crop is slowly being replaced by other crops, such as bananas, eggplant, guinnep, noni, sapatilla, paroka, pikinga, Gerolmond's squash, yam, gourd, plantain, Christophine, monbin, prune kafar. Copyright, cocoa, jackfruit, pomegranate, and many varieties of flowers. Other vegetables and root crops are cultivated for local consumption, although Gwadloup is still dependent on imported food, mainly from France. Light industry features sugar and rum, solar energy, and many industrial productions. Most manufactured goods and fuel are imported. Unemployment is especially high among the youth. Hurricanes periodically devastate the economy. The country code top-level domain for Gwadloup is GP. Culture. Gwadloup's culture is probably best known for the islanders' literary achievements, particularly the poetry of St. John Perse, the pseudonym used by Alexis La. Copyright Guerre. Perse won the 1960 Nobel Prize in Literature for the soaring flight and the evocative images of his poetry, which, in a visionary fashion, reflects the conditions of our time. Gwadloup has always had a rich literary output, continued today by many living writers, poets, novelists, essayists and journalists, among them Mesdames Maryse Condé. Copyright and Simone Schwartz-Bart, Ernest Parr. Copyright Piner, Fr. Music and dance are also very popular, and the widely accepted interaction of African, French and Indian cultures has given birth to some original new forms specific to the archipelago. Islanders enjoy many local dance styles including zouk, zouk love, compa, as well as the modern international dances such as hip-hop, etc. Traditional Guadeloupean music includes la biguine, cadence, cadence lypso, bouillon, and guoka. Popular music artists and bands such as Experience 7, Frankie Vincent, Kassav, and Gilles Floro embody the traditional music style of the island and the new generation of music, while some other musical artists, like Tom Fridger, perform colorful reggae music that defines the Gwadloup Island as paradise-like. Many international festivals take place in Gwadloup, like the Creole Blues Festival, hosted in Marie-Galante. All the Euro-French forms of art are also ubiquitous. The melting pot is emphasized by other communities, who live on the island and share their cultures. while not in the Guadeloupean style, Catherine Quinol is known worldwide as the lip-syncing icon of the piano house trio Black Box, who burst onto the music scene in the late 1980s with songs such as Ride on Time. Catherine is, however, a trained singer and she went on to release her own work. Another element of Guadeloupean culture is its dress. A few women wear a unique style of traditional dress, with many layers of colorful fabric, now only worn on special occasions. On festive occasions they also wore a madras headscarf tied in many different symbolic ways, each with a different name. The headdress could be tied in the bat style, or the firefighter style, as well as the Guadeloupean woman. Jewelry, mainly gold, is also important in the Guadeloupean lady's dress, a product of European, African and Indian inspiration. French-born dancers, choreographers, comedians Laurent and Larry Bourgeois are also of Guadeloupean descent. Noted for their fresh take on hip-hop dance, this twin duo made an impression on the dance world while touring with Michael Jackson and Beyoncé on the Immortal Tour. Sport. Football is popular in Guadeloupe, and several notable footballers are of Guadeloupean origin. Thierry Henry, a star of the French national team and MLS club New York Red Bulls, often visits, as his father Antoine was originally from the island. William Gallas visits the island when not playing for Perth Glory FC. Lilian Thuram, defender for France and most notably FC Barcelona, was born in Guadeloupe. The former Manchester United, Everton and France striker Louis Saha. Newcastle United FC striker Yoann Gouffran. Kettering Town goalkeeper Willie Garrett. Pascal Kimbonda, footballer. Kimbonda was born in Guadeloupe. Parma FC star Jonathan Bibiani. Star copyright Fane Auvry currently plays for New York Red Bulls in Major League Soccer. Ronald Zabar and his younger brother Stefan, who are both footballers, were born in Guadeloupe. Miguel Caminges, who currently plays as a defender for English side Stevenage FC, Dimitri Folquia, who plays as a defender at Granada CF. The national football team experienced success in 2007, advancing all the way to the 2007 CONCACAF Gold Cup semi-finals, where they were defeated 1-0 by CONCACAF powerhouse Mexico. Basketball is also popular. Best-known players are the NBA players Mick Connell, Pierre Copyrightress, Joan Petro, Rodrigue B. Boys, and Mikkel Jelibale, who were born on the island. Also known as trainer and former player Paul Contrin, after whom a basketball stadium in Pointe-à-Pitre is named. Many fine track and field athletes, such as Marie-José Copyright Par Copyright Rec, Patricia Gerard La Copyright No, Christine Aron, and Wilhelm Belocian, are also Guadeloupe natives. Triple Olympic champion Marie-José Copyright Par Copyright Rec, fourth fastest 100m runner Christine Aron, and fencing champion Laura Flessel were all born and raised in Guadeloupe. Even though Guadeloupe is part of France, it has its own sports teams. Rugby union is a small but rapidly growing sport in Guadeloupe. France international and Stade Français Section A centre Mathieu Bastériard was born in Guadeloupe. The island is also internationally best known for hosting the Caroujet Russia Eurojet Ski World Championship since 1998. This 9-stage, 4-day event attracts competitors from around the world. The Caroujet, generally made up of 7 races around the island, has an established reputation as one of the most difficult championships in which to compete. The Route du Rhum is one of the most prominent nautical French sporting events, occurring every 4 years. Bodybuilder Serge Nubret was born in Anse-Bertrand, Grande-Terre, representing the French state in various bodybuilding competitions throughout the 1960s and 1970s, taking second place in both the 1973 and 1975 IFBB Mr. Olympia contests. Bodybuilder Marie-Galante also hails from Guadeloupe. See also: Bibliography of Guadeloupe, Index of Guadeloupe-related articles, 2009 French-Caribbean general strikes, slavery in the British and French Caribbean, colonial and departmental heads of Guadeloupe, Leeward Islands, list of Guadeloupe-related topics, all pages beginning with Guadeloupe, overseas departments and territories of France. Notes. References. External links: Guadeloupe at DMOZ, Wikimedia Atlas of Gwadloup, Government, Gwadloup the island where nature rules. Official French website, Pra copyright Fecture de la copyright Guin Gwadloup Euro official site of the Prefecture of Gwadloup, Ra copyright Guin Gwadloup Euro official site of the Regional Council of Gwadloup, Travel, Lesser Gwadloup Euro official site of the Gwadloup Islands Tourism Board, Travel pages Euro Gwadloup, Office du Tourisme de Marie-Galante Euro official site of the Tourist Board of Marie-Galante, Office du Tourisme du Mole Euro official site of the Tourist Board of La Mole. Gwadloup Islands Basse-Terre Euro site of the Gwadloup Islands Tourism Board, Gwadloup Mapa Euro Gwadloup map, Basse-Terre Euro site of Basse-Terre Tourism Board, Gwadloup Islands Euro Gwadloup Islands Tourism Board, Gwadloup Euro Gwadloup Islands Tourism Board, Gwadloup West Islands Euro Gwadloup West Islands.